think in 1 million years that video games will still remember us? And when I look at my video game, they'll still remember me when I'm a bunch of bones in the ground, and they'll be like, "That used to be the person who played me. They were so cool, except the people I hated." Yeah, I like to think so too. You know, when I'm old, I'm in the hospital, I want my games to say, you know what? I do want the treatment for them. You know, I don't want to see them suffer right here. And then they pay for my treatment instead of having health insurance. That's how you beat the system right there. Your video game pays for health insurance in the United States. But video games aren't at that point in technology to where they can actually be like my best friend of all time and say, buddy, I'm so glad you spent 20,000 hours this week playing. Man, please go outside and touch some grass for me, will you? Like, VR is the next revolutionary step here, but yet we don't have video games with 2 legs, arms, and going like, "Hey there, Pally, how's it going?" There's none of that. There's none of that at all. Sure, there's mobility with like handheld consoles, but you know, I need something more. I need more game. I need more physical game. You know, I like to think of myself as some kind of like father of video games, even though I haven't created, nor really have I put any effort into any project that would actually create a video game here. I like to think of myself as like a manager of video games, so to speak, to where when I'm managing all these games, I think of them like my babies. And when I look at my babies, and I'm like, wow, each of you are doing so horribly in school right now because none of you go to school. No one here knows how to read and write. But when they finally get industrial factory jobs and I lose a couple of them because of the dangerous working conditions, they'll remember me for teaching them character and then say when I'm older, time to go to the nursing home. But maybe there's that one video game who feels bad for me and says, you know what, I'll take care of you. And I'm like, that's the goal. That's the goal, baby. Like, I think we've lost the plot here with VR. We're supposed to be able to play the games entirely standing up with our 2 hands, with our legs. But I think, what if the games just were themselves? That's where we can finally really get the next evolution of video games here. They respond, they think on their own, and then they go up to me and then they dap me up and I'm like, hey, Pally, nice stuff right there. They hold jobs, they can own property, and the best part of all, they can tell how bad you're playing in the video game Deadlock. Like, let's think of the next evolutionary step for VR. All right, you're playing the game in your whole room, and imagine you're doing a running game. Why aren't I just going out and running? That's a good question. That's a very good question. But then imagine this. I have a video game with 2 legs that runs beside me. And I could go, hee. Man, I really want to push it down the mid lane and then feed my ass off. I can do that. I can absolutely do that. I think this all stems from the problem of what does VR want to do? And I don't think VR really knows what it wants to do. It wants to be the personification of playing games with your entire body. When I think I already use my whole body to play video games. How do you think I played 2 controllers at the time? Obviously with my feet. But when you have the video games on their own, you know what you really have to use? Your mind. It doesn't just become the full personification of your body. It becomes life. The video game becomes life. And that's the true next step of video games. Video games, technology, it will become an extension of life. They'll become something grander than we'll ever see. Ungrateful children. Why didn't you put the charger on? Why didn't you say? Things like this. And then you're like, man, this guy's fucking annoying. Exactly. That's exactly the point. It's testing your abilities to play the game. It's pushing you beyond what you further could see. And isn't pushing past those limits fun? Isn't that what Miyazaki Dark Souls says? Is, man, I'm going to throw a really evil boss at you, but if you beat it, I'll throw another one right at you, and that's what makes it fun? Yes, you're breaking past your limits here. You're understanding the true gaming experience is that life is gaming. Now, there's probably a caveat that you've been raising your hand at, like, ooh. VR is still a developing technology, and I'm like, you know, you make an absolutely fair point, right? You make an absolutely fair point. It's still developing. Well, you know what? All technology is developing. Some are further along than others. And you know what? VR, you've had about 35 years to finally deliver me some great sauce. And what have you delivered me? Nothing, because I never bought a VR headset, so I'm making all of my presumptions based on having no information about them. And that's exactly the problem with VR. They just don't understand what they're doing. It's like, obviously you can't make a point about something you don't know, but I'll use the philosophical argument. I know that I don't know, therefore I am right. That's what Plato said, by the way. Plato always said that, and Plato was a smart guy. I know, I met him back in the day. But you know, I don't have to just cite my lack of experience with VR to really pitch you on this. Just look at the biggest example. Has VR ever went on a jog? Has VR ever paid taxes? Has VR ever said, man, how you doing, Pally? I hope you're having a great day today. No. No, they haven't. No, and they never will. That's why VR is just lagging behind, because the new technology of gaming is to give life to gaming, not to personify the life of gaming, not to onomatopoeia, not to foreshadowing, even though that's not one of the things I don't think, not to metaphor, not to simile, not to, what's the other one that I'm forgetting? There's actually, what is it? Onomatopoeia, that's one. Metaphor, simile. Wait, onomatopoeia. That one that I mentioned. So, okay, that's 4. Alright, I'm really driving a blank right here. Okay. So, our literary devices. Oh, wait, I said personification. Yeah, personification, onomatopoeia, metaphor, simile, refantasio, yep, that one, and Atlas Interactive. There we go. VR will never use these literary devices, while this new technology, games being brought to life, they will use all of the literary devices in a paragraph. And that's why gaming has evolved. It's flawed. You see the flaws. It's life everlasting. And that's why it will be the true Quad A game, just like Skull and Bones.